Okay, what's happening, everybody? Boom, boom, boom. I know I'm a little late. I see the Moore families in the house. Stephanie, Ron, yo, what up? Yo, okay, so let's go ahead. I think it's time for me to fade some of this out. Let's fade that out. I'm making adjustments. I'm making changes. Things are getting better, but let's go ahead. I faded that out. I'm sorry. I have to apologize. I was a little late. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get stuff working correctly. Honestly, it depends on what clock you're going by. I'll go on going full nerd time, and this showing 6:08. So that means I'm running a little slow, but that's okay. I am here. I am with you now, and we are getting ready to get down with the get down. All right, so this is what? It's Sunday. We've had a couple of movies drop. We had a couple of things drop. I hope you had a chance to go and check out my Series End, Theories End video on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or, the podcast audio for that is going to actually drop soon. I got to go ahead and upload that. Things have been just a little, just trying to catch up. It's so hectic. I don't even have the adult beverage, so it may be one of those calm, relaxed episodes. Nope, no, it won't. No, it won't. No, it won't. Okay, so this is what we got. Before we get started, I have to do the shameless plug, and here it goes. Uh-oh. My shameless plug wants to act up. So I have to do it manually. Golly, jeez, I can't stand when this happens. Hey, everybody, shameless plug time. Please make sure you check out goingfullnerd.com. Check out Going Full Nerd. Follow me on Twitter. That's at Onyx, ONYXXX1969. Check out the podcast on his home, anchor.fm/goingfullnerd. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe here on youtube.com/goingfullnerd. You can also check out the audio podcast on it's Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you consume your podcast listening needs. And here goes the show. I think I got it right. I've got it, trying to set this stuff up. I think I might have to tear it all down and start over again. But let's talk. I'm going to be honest. I was really excited. When I say excited, I was beyond excited about hearing a Mortal Kombat reboot, remake, new movie. And you seen it in my previous podcast, heard it in my previous podcast, seen it in my previous videos. And honestly, I've always enjoyed that game in its many iterations over the years. And Mortal Kombat is probably one of the most iconic fighting game franchises in history, comparable only to Street Fighter, honestly. So there's always been a problem, though. And the problem is when you make movies about video games or properties like this, and after watching the new Mortal Kombat movie, these problems just haven't gone away. So what I'm going to go ahead and say is, if you have not finished watching or have not gone and watched the new Mortal Kombat movie, please pause if you're watching this on video, step away, come back, because there will be some spoilers in my review, synopsis, complaint, praise, whatever you think I'm going to go ahead and say. So, with that getting out the way, let me get this out the way. In no way, Mortal Kombat 1995, that's the first movie, Mortal Kombat Annihilation 1997, in no way are those cinematic masterpieces. Let's get that out the way. History, okay, has a way of sitting in the back of our minds, and when we remember something, we always remember it in a better light than what it probably really was. I mean, those were fun, adrenaline driven fan service films made to cash in on the popularity of a unique arcade game during the height of its popularity. Now, you got to remember, Mortal Kombat, the game itself, made its debut in 1992. So you got 92, 93, 94, 95. Not that long. So those two films were pretty timely in their productions to cash in on the trend. And the special effects, the way we did things, the way we viewed movies, they weren't at the level that we have now. So if you remember those movies a little more fonder or better than what they probably actually were, you know, take that with a grain of salt when looking at the new one. Okay. All right. Now, I think I might have to go do some old movie reviews to remind some of us that these were not as great as we remember. Now, the plot for this new film, it was all over the place, taking elements from everything that has preceded it on small and big screens. And the problem with this movie is it had no clear cut direction. I'm going to say it. It had no clear cut direction. You could tell that the writers were actually attempting to try to set up a Mortal Kombat cinematic universe, okay, of connected stories, or at least they were trying to make a good trilogy or series of Mortal Kombat movies starting from whatever beginning this was identified as. I'm just going to say that. Now, why didn't that work for your boy Onyx? Well, I'm going to tell you why it didn't work is because they didn't give enough time to develop parts of this story. And ultimately, that is this movie's downfall. Okay? Now, the other day on HBO Max's YouTube channel, they debuted the first 7 minutes. It was a sneak peek. And I'm going to be honest, that was arguably the best portion of the film. And that says a lot when a movie is only 1 hour and 50 minutes long. Let me say it again. When you give a 7-minute sneak peek on a 1 hour and 50-minute movie, that right there should have been a warning sign to me, but I ignored it. I was so hyped. You know, I got hyped over a Shang-Chi trailer. I got hyped because Mortal Kombat was coming out. I was feeling my martial arts self. I should have saw it coming. And you know, I had high hopes. I had high hopes because you know it was establishing in that first 7 minutes. It established the Sub-Zero and Scorpion rivalry, and then all of a sudden, like the Winter Olympics, it went downhill from there. Okay, it went downhill fast, slalom, snowboard action. I mean, whoosh. Oh man. I mean, I was watching it. I mean, it's honestly, it was a classic case of trying to do too much in too little time. And the powers that be, whether it was the writers, whether it was the game creators, or whether it was Warner Brothers Productions, okay, whether it was the producers or whoever greenlit and put their money behind this film, okay, they wanted to hit every check mark except for the most important. They were like, okay, we got to have brutal fight scenes. Check. Can we get a R rating? Check. Make sure we use the most popular Mortal Kombat characters, guys. Check. And somebody in the back was like, hey, what about a good storyline? So, let's skip that. Let's add more brutal fight scenes. Double down on the R rating and make sure we got some of the more popular Mortal Kombat characters. We're going to water them down, but we're going to put some of the most popular ones. Well, what about Johnny Cage? No, we won't put that one in. We'll throw a teaser at the end to let people know if they watch this, we'll get another movie and we'll put Johnny Cage in it. Come on. Come on. Come on. Warner Brothers. I'm blaming it on Warner Brothers. You gotta do better. I mean, Mortal Kombat, okay? It's a Warner Brothers back property. All right? And maybe this is basically just showing the powers that be at Warner Brothers may need to rethink what moviegoers really want or really want to see. I mean, once we get to a semblance of normalcy, once we get the ability to go back to movie theaters after the pandemic, you know, this movie right here, it would have left me so pissed off. I praised the efforts of HBO Max and Warner Brothers, okay, to put this in movie theaters and streaming services, to try to do everything to kind of satisfy people, to say, okay, those of you are not comfortable going back to movie theaters, you watch it streaming. Those of you that are, you've got the option to go see and enjoy these movies on a big screen and move back to normalcy. We got vaccines going out, we got all this stuff. But I got to be real critical, because if this movie came out in 2019, not 2020 or 2021, but if this movie came out in 2019 and I paid movie theater prices to see this movie, I would, I say it again, have been highly pissed off. And that's no doubt. That is no doubt. And, you know, it's like, come on, people. I mean, it felt like Kong versus Godzilla. The special effects, the fight scenes, they looked good. They looked real good. I was like, yes. But you can't make a good movie on special effects and fight scenes alone. You can't. So what am I going to give? What am I going to review? What is this movie going to get on the Going Full Nerd scale? So let's think about this. It gets a 1 on the Going Full Nerd scale for story. It gets a 3 for the fight scenes and special effects. So overall, the Mortal Kombat 2021 film gets a 2 on the Going Full Nerd scale. And unless you have HBO Max, please skip this movie altogether if you were thinking about going to a movie theater to see this. No IMAX, no 3D. Hopefully they don't have any of that stuff going on right now. And if you pay the movie theater price, you need to be whooped. They need to be whooped. I'm going to go ahead and say. So that's my thoughts on the latest Mortal Kombat. Now, I was on Twitter earlier, and I got my boy. I love my boy to death, but I have to kind of say this because it kind of bugs me, because I started looking at stuff, and here's the deal. Here's the deal. Just because something isn't brutally R, it is not marvelized. Okay, this is not and people, there are websites out there, there are people posting on the net with opinions just like myself, and every failure that Warner Brother has, they want to put it on. They're trying to be like Marvel. Okay, let's fix this right now, and I gotta fix this. Marvel has a formula for their movies. Their formula basically is telling a complete story, leaving enough Easter eggs where they can move the direction based on how well a script is written. Okay? That's not Marvel formula. That's not a Marvel formula. I'm going to tell you movies that have had successful cinematic universes before Marvel Studios and the Marvel Cinematic Universe ever existed. Jurassic Park had a trilogy that was nice. Terminator had a series of movies that was nice. Okay? Predator had a series of movies that was nice. Okay? Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay? All these movies have interconnected storylines. Saw. And none of these are a Marvel formula. Some were rated R, some were rated PG. It is what it is. Okay? Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. Okay? Those are not Marvel formulas. Those are simple storytelling formulas. I'll even throw out a movie that I can't stand, the Twilight series. It's not hard, folks. Tell a complete story from start to finish. Okay, that is not marvelizing. Okay, if I make a joke, it is not Marvel-esque. Okay, Marvel does not hold a copyright on jokes. I think jokes have been out for a long, long time. Okay, so I'm just saying. Here goes the deal. All right, these production studios, they do have a lot of say. They have a gate on whatever is put out. We know this. We understand this. That's why television shows get canceled. No matter how good we think a television show is, and it's not even about performance, because there's been shows that have been real good that got canceled real quick. Black Lightning. Okay? Let's go out there. All right? Let's continue on. All right? So, it just really gets me, and it's not always about, a specific director or a writer. It's not. It's the studios. If you're upset with how a movie gets released and comes out, it is the studio's fault, not the writer, not because somebody's trying to copy someone else's success. It is the studio who feels through their marketing group, through their research, that is done. I think maybe because the theme parks and all this stuff is closed, that they're not getting great audience feedback on stuff. Because if you've ever traveled to Las Vegas or down to Orlando and gone to the theme parks, gone to the casinos, and they have these people doing these surveys and they call you in and you get to go sit and watch shows as a focus group. That's not happening right now. You see my point? So some of this stuff is getting removed from the process in figuring out what's good. Okay. So we can't, we can blame, and I hate mentioning this because when you mention that cut, and I'm going to call it that cut, when you mention that cut, it brings the worst out of a lot of people because now everybody feels they got to defend something. Okay. It it just gets me. It just really gets me. Failure of a writer does not constitute copying Marvel. All right. Marvel has had failures. The Inhumans television show was a failure. Okay. Iron Man 3 was a failure in the overall scheme of things. The Hulk was a failure in the overall scheme of things. Just saying. Okay? So let's gauge success. Let's gauge great movies on what it should be. Is the story coherent? Is the special effects up to par for what is expected? Are the characters thought out? Did they leave in or leave out plot points? That's what we gauge movies on. It's not about box office receipts, folks. Hey, movies will make money one way or the other. Where a movie will fail in the box office, it will make up for in syndication. I mean, think about it. Think about it. Mortal Kombat may be a failure, but it will show up because it's going to show up eventually on TNT, FX, somewhere, cut down to a made for TV edit, and people are going to watch it. It just happens. They got me watching it. They got you watching it because, hey, I don't know of anybody that listens to what I say and says, you know what? So I won't go do it. Yes, we could probably blame Ed Boon's ass too. All right, so here's the deal. Here's the deal. All right, here's the deal. You know, now I got to look at all the HBO Max releases. I got to look at these movies I got to look at them and be like, was that an actual good decision to do the simultaneous release? Is it really good to figure out or say, did they know that these movies were pretty much trash and said, you know what, we're going to simultaneously release them and we're going to catch some suckers in the theaters, and then we got our subscribers on HBO Max. We got individuals who do ulterior means to watch stuff, but we're not going to worry about them. We're going to get our money from our HBO Max subscriptions and from those suckers that go to the movie theater excited. You know, is that what we're going down to? I mean, we talk about the fight scenes inside Mortal Kombat. The fight scenes were great. The fight scenes were awesome. Like I think I went back. I didn't go back and forth, but I saw the comment by my longtime viewer, Low Cuts, and he was like, "Oh, what's up with the blood freezing by Sub Zero?" Well, actually, he wasn't manipulating the blood. He actually made him bleed and froze the water around the blood. That's how I can explain it. I'm gonna give him an excuse. Okay, I'm gonna give him an excuse. Just like he froze the water and made it into a sword, he could freeze any liquid into any shape he wants. I give him that. Okay? I give him that. This whole thing about unleashing your arcana was bullshit. Okay? Let's go after it. Let's talk about this. Okay, Kano gets a laser eye with no prosthetic cybernetics. Okay, All right. He magically gets a laser eye. I can understand the magical part of like Kung Lao teleporting. I can understand the magical part of Liu Kang with fireballs, the fire dragon. I get that. Okay? I get that. I don't get Jax with the little bony, skinny metal arms. And then, oh, when he unlocks his thing, his arms got big and bulk. Player, please, please, please. Y'all just messing with me. Y'all, hey, y'all just peeing in a cup and throwing it over the top of my head and telling me it's rain. I mean, that's just how I felt about the story writing on this. Now, I kind of dig and understand. Hey, let's make Scorpion's ancestor. Let's introduce this new character, Cole. And I dig Cole. Cole's not a bad character, but he was a waste of a character, honestly. I would have done better if he was possessed by Scorpion. I thought that was the route they were going to go when when Raiden handed him the tool. I was like, oh, so he's going to channel Scorpion through his body through possession, right? No, he gets 2 Tonfa and he gets this suit of armor. He's a too big colossus. Goro got his ass whooped. I'm like, come on, man. Goro, the four-armed prince. This is the dude that was, in the original Mortal Kombat video games, the hardest dude to beat. Okay? Yet, he gets arms broken and taken out. I mean, they were doing, you can't do fatalities without, let me say it again. You can't do fatalities without the tournament. They did the fatalities killing off characters. Really? Really? Come on. What were you thinking, Warner Brothers? Who greenlit this shit? Come on. My goodness. My goodness. But anyway, folks, we got to figure something out. We got to find a way to let these studios know. And I'm not going to sit here and say boycott because I'm going to watch every last one of these things. Okay? But we got to let them know. You got to tell them. You got to be like, listen, give me a full story. Okay? Give me a full story. Now, you would think Warner Brothers would learn their lesson. Okay? You think they would learn their lesson. They just don't get it. They're chasing the quick buck. They're trying to take shortcuts. They want to give everything they've made has been 100% fan service. Fans of these genres, they don't feel that these people they don't feel that we, the nerds, the geeks, the sci-fi aficionados, they don't feel that we comprehend or want a fully fleshed out storyline. They don't think we want the Star Wars. They don't think that we want these things. They don't. They treating us some kind of way. They don't think we want the John Wick connected universes. Come on now. They think we want the action and that's it. That's why we got a Fast and Furious 9 coming out. A Fast and Furious 9, folks. Come on. AT&T. But they just bought Warner Brothers. A lot of this stuff, AT&T isn't realizing this yet. We could blame this on Warner Brothers. Okay? It's like getting a new job on your credentials and you're like, hey, I'm the greatest thing since buttered bread. And then you start handing the boss the same old shit. And at first, the boss, who doesn't know anything about what you've been doing before they bought this company, they say, you know what? We're going to let you do it because you've been around for years. You made a lot of money. And then now you're handing us this. And we see when it's compared to things that other people are bringing out, it's failing. Now, since my ass is on the fire, I'm going to try to jump through hoops. Maybe I'm going to hire some people to do some things. Maybe I'm going to skip a few steps. Maybe I'm not going to take the time and effort to develop something. Develop the stories, folks. R ratings and action do not a success make. Okay? Just saying. But anyway, that's all I got for you. That's all I got for you. You know, and they're really like I'm going to go ahead and say it. Fully geeking out. You know, you guys are pretty much telling the truth when you say they're ripping off our nostalgia. Okay, it is 100% true. You know, like, Stephanie, you said it. Cole's character was not the way to go. Okay, you know, I just feel like we've been slighted. But let's understand, outside of Ready Player One, video game based movies don't usually succeed. And on that note, let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and we're going to hit this funky outro music. And if you stay around during the end credits, when you get to see all the awesome members, okay, those who basically produce this show, and you'll hear something, a funny little anecdote, a funny little story for me. So here we go. Hey, Warner Brothers, do better. But over here, Going Full Nerd, we're still fly. Peace, y'all, and I'm out of here. Okay, what can we look forward to? I don't know exactly what I can say we look forward to, but what I think we should be, you know, we got a lot of stuff ready to come out. I'm going to revisit the animated series Invincible sometime this week, but let's tell you about a little funny story. I ordered a new chair, a new gaming chair, that has some better back support. And these jokers sent me the wrong chair. So I've been going back and forth on email. And they literally told me, hey, open the box and take pictures and send it to us because we don't believe we sent you the wrong chair. I'm like, y'all sent me the wrong chair. Stop playing with my emotions. Okay? So that might be a video you guys get once that is all completely said and done. I will out. If you follow me on Twitter, you know the company. I'm going to out that company, and I can't wait to see what the rest of this story plays out to be. But peace, y'all, and I'm out of here. Cheers to all the haters, cause you proved to me that y'all see the members downstairs. Y'all see them right down there. Peace, y'all. I'm out.